everyone. Here we are for another mini dose of the Worth the Fight podcast, daily dose, if you will. It was 2014, and I remember meditating in my bathtub. Actually, I was just doing slow breathing. I had just committed to going to Costa Rica for my first ayahuasca experience, and they had told me the supreme importance of getting ultra clear on my intention. Why am I traveling out of the country? Why am I engaging the most potent medicine on planet Earth, arguably, although Ibogaine might be stronger? And what was I seeking to heal, and what was my objective? Again, what were my intentions? So I took this to heart, and I remember being there on 2014, probably December 20th, December 22nd or so. And just before, because I remember it was a day after Christmas that I left for Costa Rica. I actually skipped my family Christmas that year. But I was meditating in my bathtub at Racine and Roscoe. I had a condo there for many, many years. And I had gotten into such a relaxing state that my hands started to vibrate. I thought I was losing my mind. Like, I was going crazy before the retreat. But it was one of the more beautiful experiences that I'd ever felt, just pure peace. And, reflecting on that experience, that might have been the first time that I downregulated my nervous system since childhood. I raised my hand as an adult survivor of childhood trauma, and a lot of the unprocessed trauma kind of knocked me off the path, so to speak. And I wrote a whole gosh darn book about it with Worth the Fight, about the pangs of unprocessed trauma, and all the heaviness on my heart. It was too painful to feel until I went down to Costa Rica. Really cracked my heart open, cracked my mind open, my soul open, if you will, where I could feel everything, let it go, move through that traumatic and unprocessed trauma in my nervous system to clear energetic space for new aligned blessings to come forth. And I didn't know what I was doing then, but again, in retrospect, looking back, yes, I downregulated my nervous system with long, slow exhales. And maybe being in the water was helpful. And I always encourage people to be very mindful to not do any breathing exercises in the water, certainly not any Wim Hof. But that was something, as there are shallow blackout, where people will black out, and that's a very serious notion. But in this case, again, long, slow exhales. My body was buzzing, my hands were buzzing. And I felt so much peace and clarity. And, with getting laser clear about my why was I going, tapping, again, before I even left, tapping into a part of myself that I did not have access to otherwise. And it's no wonder that Dr. Huberman's non-sleep deep rest has resonated so much with me, and it's having its moment in our culture right now. We're waking up to the power of these long, slow exhales for regulating our nervous system, for creating calm, for bringing us into the present moment. So I'm going to do a deep dive here around NSDR. This is something I've been sharing with my clients for the last 5 years or so, since I first heard about this from Dr. Huberman. I believe it was 2021, maybe we were a year into the pandemic, and he's talking about NSDR and the scientific benefits. And I kind of probably scoffed at it a little bit with, hey, I've got it all figured out. But then maybe there was some real talk. My second half of the day energy levels were not strong then. I had a lot of stress. And so I took his directives to heart. I listened to the scripts and have started this, and I basically do it every single day. And this is kind of funny. When I don't have my NSDR after lunch, I do it for 20 minutes after lunch every single day. I turn on the nature noises. I don't use the scripts. I'll put the scripts in the comments the show notes and the comments. I think those would be valuable to check out, and they give you a strong framework. And there's no one better to articulate the science of what's happening when we're doing non-sleep deep rest. I'm going to dive into the science a little bit towards the end of this, but again, wanted to encourage you. Essentially, the NSDR is Huberman's spin of Yoga Nidra, which they've been practicing in the Far East for hundreds, maybe thousands of years. And they're basically doing slow breathing with a body scan, where you're sending consciousness and light to parts of our body that maybe we wouldn't give attention to during our busy day-to-day. So we're taking time for that, and getting we're cultivating what the scientists call interoceptive awareness, awareness of inside the boundaries of our skin and within our body. Our inner world would maybe be a better way to articulate that or to say that. So we're taking time to breathe slowly. My NSDR style of breath that I've extrapolated from listening to all of the scripts is 4 seconds in, 1 to 2 second hold at the top, and then 7 to 8 second exhale through pursed lips. That kind of helps the extension of the exhale. And if you're driving right now, don't do the slow breathing or operating heavy machinery. But again, 4 seconds in through the nose, 1 to 2 second hold at the top, and 7 to 8 second exhale. And this creates an enormous amount of calm and peace. And it's an active form of meditation. So this is, we're pushing back against BS Inc. and our frantic paced world, and we're taking time to tend to our nervous system and to recalibrate and to restore our nervous system. There's some fascinating science that Dr. Huberman talks about, and this was an hour-long Yoga Nidra. In an hour-long Yoga Nidra, we could increase our dopamine up to 65%. That's pretty significant. And dopamine, again, is less the molecule of reward and pleasure. The neuroscience community has shifted the frame on it. It's more the molecule of more, of crave, of pursuit, of motivation, of getting things done. And we all need more dopamine for our healing journey, so we can lean into the discomfort of sitting with those heavy emotions, those tough questions that don't have clear answers. And we need it for personal growth and for serving our purposes and for our expansive service impact, for executing on our things to do list, for embracing the friction of life. We need dopamine. And the best way that I use this analogy is when I do my NSDR practice, I typically do it after lunch around noon, maybe an hour earlier, an hour later, typically earlier. I will, again, just follow my breath and 4 seconds in, 1 to 2 second hold, 7 to 8 second exhale. And about 10 minutes into the practice, I feel so good. I'm starting to feel my body recalibrate. And I generally finish the 20 minutes. This is my time. This is my time for self-care. This is my time to tend to my nervous system. This is my time for a break in the second half of the day to have that point, that breaking point where I'm splitting my first half and the second half, so I can reflect on how is my day going, where am I missing the mark, what needs to get done. I might do a short journaling session right after the NSDR. I encourage 5 to 10 minute journaling sessions, even if it's a half page, that we stack that on top of our meditation and on top of our breathing sessions, whether it's the NSDR or we're doing the Wim Hof method. We're more activated, we're more calm after meditation, NSDR, or the Wim Hof. And we're gonna have more ability to navigate the nuance of our inner world and what are we feeling and what's heavy on our heart. And so taking the time, getting these thoughts out of our left brain chatter onto paper so we can work through and we can start to process and we can start to create more velocity in our lives. Because when we start to peel back the layers of the heaviness that we carry, then we free up energetic space for new aligned blessings to come forth, for priming prosperity pathways, a lot of the ahas, the eureka moments, the insights. Again, these are, the word insight is broken in insight. So we're taking time, closing our eyes, going into our inner world so we can capture that insight, and then we're putting it onto paper, journaling it. And even if it's, something that might not be very important, I think that it's important that we get whatever's out of our left brain onto paper, clear energetic bandwidth for new aligned blessings and creative thoughts to come forth. So again, 65% more dopamine. When I'm done with this practice, I feel restored, I feel recharged, I feel reinvigorated for the second half of my day. Like I have plenty of energy to execute on the second half of my day, my things to do list, and to get done what needs to get done. And NSDR can be I would have never thought that this breathing method would help me master sleep. I sleep 8 to 9 hours every single night, unless I'm out on a date or, and sometimes I do get 6 or 7 hours of sleep, but it's if I'm, again, out on a date or I've got something special or I'm traveling or something like that, special occasion. But when I have control of my own environment, again, 8 to 9 hours every single night. The slow breathing helps me get to sleep faster. I used to spend 9 hours in bed. I would get 8 hours of sleep, and there would be an hour on my Whoop device that would go into, I don't know, I don't remember being awake. And that hour is almost completely gone because I'm getting into deep sleep, deeper levels of sleep, REM sleep, and then non-REM sleep, like the light sleep, which is beneficial as well. So how this, again, helps to make getting into slumber more efficient by calming our nervous system, and that probably increases the quality of sleep as well. When we're coming into the dream world, we're coming into slumber and this calm, quiescent, we're going to have a better, again, more deep sleep, more REM sleep, as opposed to, I just watched a scary movie and I've got all this adrenaline and all this excitement, or I've just spent all this time on social media, and then we go to sleep and we wonder why we're not getting good sleep, because our body is overactivated. It takes all this time to calm down. So we might calm down in the middle of the night, and by then we perhaps have missed some of the window for getting that good deep sleep and that REM sleep, which is the second half of the night. So again, the NSDR can be extraordinarily helpful for mastering sleep, mastering our breath. And when we do have sleep disturbances, long, slow exhales, again, send a signal of safety to our nervous system. Like from a evolutionary standpoint, our hunter-gatherer ancestors, when they're breathing long and slowly, that means that we're safe. That means that, again, the perimeter is covered. And so we have that same wiring that our hunter-gatherer ancestors from 25 to 50,000 or 100,000 years ago. For the most part, we have the same wiring. We do live in this rapidly accelerating world where there's so much data being thrown at us, but we have the same nervous system. So again, the long, slow exhale sends a signal of safety that again, it's a luxury from an evolutionary standpoint for us to have long, slow exhales. I remember hearing that from performance expert Dr. Gervais, I believe, Michael Gervais, it clicked at a light bulb moment with that again, the long, slow exhales are a luxury from an evolutionary standpoint. I've also heard that this can be 5 times more restorative than sleep itself. So if you had a cruddy night's sleep, doing this for 20 minutes or half an hour before going to work or before your task, whatever it might be, this can be an extension of sleep and a way for us to get more slumber. I do this, there are days if I did get 6 or 7 hours of sleep. Again, it's very rare, and it must have been a really good time last night, and we had an awesome romantic time, romantic date, if I'm getting 6 to 7 hours of sleep. But if I'm feeling depleted, I might do this 2 or 3 other times before meetings. I might do this for 5 to 10 minutes before each of my sessions to recalibrate my energy so I can be dialed into the moment, so I can serve my clients, and to honor my commitment, and to know that this can be such a powerful way to, in a short amount of time, to recalibrate our energies, regulate our nervous system, and again, replenish that dopamine that we're talking about. Again, this is a strategy for creating spaciousness amongst our frantic-paced world. It's an active form of meditation. I remember a conversation with Dr. Andrew Huberman and Dr. Matthew Walker. It was pure gold. They did, I think, 6 episodes around sleep, where 2 of these benevolent luminaries are talking about sleep and hitting it from every different angle. And this was, Dr. Walker was speculating on what's happening when we're in this NSDR breathing pattern. I remember he had called it local, and global sleep would be when we're going to bed at night. It's 9 o'clock, it's 10 o'clock, we're out for the night, we're going to be out for the next 8 to 9 hours. All systems shut down globally. But there's this term local sleep is more applicable to the NSDR. What Dr. Walker, world-renowned sleep specialist who wrote the book Why We Sleep, he posits that when we're in the NSDR, that we are getting into local sleep, where parts of our brain are shutting down. So it's pretty wild to think about it. You know, you're maybe in your bed or on your couch, you've got your 20 minutes, you're doing your slow breathing, and parts of your brain are actually shutting down and getting the same benefits, maybe even more than they would if they were sleeping. So we have the ability to on command, to bring forth this restoration, this relaxation, this nervous system regulation. And so it's pretty profound stuff. And I encourage you to try it out. I'd love to hear your thoughts and impressions. I'd love to hear if there's any other breathing strategies that you do that might be of a benefit, or any other strategies akin to the NSDR. This is, again, something that has meant so much to me on my path, and many of my clients have gravitated towards this. My client, Bob, he's a businessman in Wisconsin. He started doing this, and this was an absolute game changer. He would do almost like a combination between the NSDR and the Wim Hof method. So this circular breath and long, slow exhales, deep inhales, diaphragmatic breathing, getting his belly involved. And this was his anchor. He was doing it for an hour each day in the morning. And in our time together, he opened 2 or 3, he's already a businessman, so he's already a hotshot making moves, 2 or 3 different businesses, had a bunch more energy, creative vitality, creative expression, and then the dopamine to back that up with action. And it got him back into a way that he could reclaim his essence and be forward-leaning and making bold moves. So that was an inspiring story. Many, many other clients have had similar experiences. This typically is a quiescent breath. It's more of like a PM breath, but some people do it in the morning, and they find benefit with this. And certainly if we didn't sleep well, this could be, an adjunct, an addition to our night's sleep, so we can add the 10 or the 20 minutes or the 30 minutes to our night prior. And if we're feeling any overwhelm in our nervous system, this is always a great way to calm down, to again, create nervous system regulation. If you have any question about this or anything else, please do reach out, put them in the comments below. And I would love the support of my book, Worth the Fight. We're making one last strong push here to make big, major moves here in 2026. And you can find more at worththefightbook.org. Love your support. Again, we're making a strong push here to get this message of hope and healing out to our troubled world and to our global human family. Excuse me, and to our global human family. So much love to all of you. Thanks for watching. I gotta go get some water. Have a great day.